What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. You know why we're here, child. It's Monday night. I hope everybody had a great start to their week. I know I did. Now I'm over here to discuss these real housewives of Potomac. Uh, I didn't come last week because I wasn't moved last week, and I moved this week. Not so much, to be honest, but it's reunion time. I guess my issue is that we don't ever really get down to the nitty and the gritty of it all. So, I didn't take detailed notes. I'm going to tell you the truth. I was kind of falling asleep halfway in between. Some people didn't have me engaged. What's the name? Tia. What do y'all think about Tia? Tia came over here like, I guess I like her or whatever, but she's just kind of like, you know what I mean? And I don't need people to be like crazy over the top doing the most. That's, I feel like Tia like works in a space that's like actually her, but I wish Tia, wish she would think a little bit more for herself. I realize Giselle, is the one that brought her over here, and it feels like they all come over here and align themselves with Giselle. At least that's what it feels like happened this time. So, yeah, I guess we'll get into the bits and the pieces. We're going to go ahead and run this thing. I'm not going to do a whole lot of chitting and chatting today. So we're going to get on into it and, run it on the replay. Make sure when you run through, you know what I'm saying, hit the like button. Let somebody know you came. Oh, I see some people popping in. Don't forget to hit the like button as we get started. I'm going to start here. Last time I talked about these ladies, I was over here discussing these looks. And now that I see them in person, not much has changed. I still feel the same way as I did before. Jazzy, and Monique look a damn fool. And one thing I will say, one adjustment I want to make. Kiara's dress, I don't know, that candy apple that, you can see when the dress is in movement. I like it a little better than when it's just standing here. So, everybody, and this isn't my ranking right here. This is just something I pulled off, off the internet. So if y'all want to see my ranking, I did a whole breakdown of these looks. You could go ahead and check that out too. But yeah. Only thing I would change is that I definitely would put Kiara in front of Ashley. That's it. That's all. That candy apple red was just, it was doing something to me when she was moving around. So, okay, let's get into it. They started with this spotlight on Wendy's accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. We love it. We love to see the black girl magic, and we kind of did grow to like Wendy. I still like Wendy. So whatever she did over there with the insurance company, trust me, it don't make me feel no type of way. I feel far worse about what Karen was over there doing than what Wendy and Eddie was over there doing. So, I don't know what that says about me, but Giselle walks out there well ready to take care of her, to take her first chair. I'm doing episodes, the part 1 and 2, if you're just getting here. So if you're wondering like why I'm talking about the stuff that happened before, is because I didn't cover it last week. Anyway, Giselle thought she was going to sit in that first chair, and Andy was like, yeah, no, you're going to be sitting next to Wendy. So yeah, we have a little montage of Wendy's accomplishments, and then they flip it into these charges, and we get it over to Wendy and Eddie's house, and they're having a conversation, which I feel like I didn't need it. I didn't need to sit here and listen to Wendy and Eddie a week later discuss how it felt when they got locked up. I can imagine how it felt. Wendy was talking, and that baby voice was annoying me. I don't feel the same. Wendy, you was Bonnie and Clyde and down to the internet before. Now you want to be over here like, what is this going to do to our marriage? We didn't need it. Y'all should have put it on last. Why did y'all do that like last episode? But you wanted to give Karen a full episode to sit up there and play in y'all's face. And I knew she was going to do that. So she could be y'all's ground dom. She's not my ground dom anymore. we'll see, what Karen has to offer, but it feels like same old bullshit. So yeah, when you get in your car under the influence of alcohol and multiple times, just chance after chance after chance, I don't care nothing about her being drunk with her wig twisted. I care that she was in the car so lit. This is her words. I'm lit. You know what I'm saying? That you down to the jailhouse at 60 plus years old. You know what I'm saying? Spending time down in the pen, lining your toilet seats with maxi pads and things. I'm surprised when she went to go ask for the pads, the people was like, "You don't need no pads, girl." Anyway, we're not talking about Karen. She'll be here next week because we have to have 3 episodes. So anyway, yeah, I didn't need the spotlight on Eddie and Wendy. We get over here to this reunion stage, and is Giselle stressed out? I don't know. Like she's sitting up here with these bags under her under her eyes. Like her eyes look like she has some very bags under her eyes. She didn't get she don't have those gold things that the girls be wearing. She should put them gold things under there. Giselle's very basic. Giselle shows up with a new rendition of the same dress she always wears and her ponytail that don't match her hair. Hey Kyle, I guess it's Cal. Cal, what's her stylist name? You keep doing it. We can't blame Giselle, honestly. She's not the hairstylist. So Cal, if you're over here making these mismatch shit, at this point, it's all on you. She's calling you her stylist. We don't know if it's hairstylist or just stylist. Anyways, it's all bad as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, and she hasn't a lot of self-tanner, or did she go somewhere? To me, it doesn't look like, how when you go on vacation and you get a tan and you feel glowy? She didn't feel glowy. She felt a little greasy and ashy at the same time. And I'm not just going in on Giselle, big sister almighty, because I don't care for her. I was just distracted by those bags under her eyes and her ashy glow. So, that's what I was getting from it. They start talking about the history of Potomac. Giselle, did you think the Potomac would turn into this thing that it's turned into? And she was like, no. As a matter of fact, in the beginning, I didn't. But when I met this one over here, this one meaning Ashley, I knew we had something special. Of all the things that you brought over here, Ashley was the thing that made you feel like you had something special. And then they show a picture of Ashley going around humping on everybody. Clearly, nothing has changed. Ashley has turned damn near 40, and she's still running around humping the room. And we still don't want it. We didn't really want it then. We was like, she cute with her big fuzzy hair. And, but can you do something with it? It keeps humping on things. Like when you go to somebody's house and they have a little, horny poodle or chihuahua or something. Andy then introduces and says his hellos to the new ladies and what was their expectations coming into the show. It seems as though both Angel and Tia came over here to meet some new ladies and gain some friendships. That's what they came over here. And I'm like, y'all are both on BS. Both of y'all are on straight BS. Nobody comes to the Housewives of Anywhere looking to meet new girls and new friends. So stop saying that. Don't say, this is things that we, the viewers, don't want to hear. We don't want to hear that you didn't watch the show before. I never watched Housewives before. I just decided to come over here. I feel like all you people on all these reality shows across the board come over here season 10, 11, 12, 15, 17 and want to say you have never seen the show before. I find that to be so irritating. Hold on. I got a text message. I'm going to just go ahead and answer this right quick. Don't mind me while I'm answering this text message. Can you go ahead and hit the like button? Let me know, you feeling what I'm putting down. Thank you. So, yeah, nobody comes over here to be, making friends. That sounds crazy. Andy goes straight to Wendy and he gets straight to the shit. He's like, so yeah, you got these charges. Looks like 16 of them, alleged fraud charges. What do you have to say about that? Can you tell us anything? No, she can't tell you anything. That sounds crazy. You just said she's got 16 charges. What exactly would she be telling you besides, I'm not allowed to talk about that. Y'all let Karen, at least she's here because Karen didn't come. Karen was over there promising to be vindicated. In the meantime, um, she said the investigation is ongoing and that they have had some court appearances. That part is true. So we know she, she telling us what she could tell us. And she said it's been very trying time for her family. I bet it is because her and Eddie, it's one thing when one of the parents get in trouble, but they was Bonnie and Clyde in this thing together. And so now, I mean, they have to start making plans. And based on the way that her Wendy's mama be working, them kids don't want to go over there. That's why the boy was like, what's happening? Why are we getting sent over to her house? Something has to be wrong here. She said her oldest son knew. Yeah, she said he knew something was up when they got sent over to the aunt's house or the grandmama's house or whoever's house they went to spend the night at, where they usually don't go, clearly. And he saw it on his phone. And that's the thing. Like, y'all be out here on these shows thinking your kids are sheltered from things, and they're not. They're all on the internet. They're, on their phones at school. So whatever it is you're trying to shelter your kids from, you better be having conversations with them. Next thing you know, they somewhere on Epstein Island because you was trying to shelter them from things that they probably should have known. I don't think they needed to know that their mama and daddy was Bonnie and Clyde, but, to be determined, we'll have to see what's happening, as these things roll out. She said he slept that night and didn't say nothing to nobody. He didn't ask those people over there. Wow, he didn't feel comfortable enough. I hope, I feel like my kids were really comfortable talking to my mother. Matter of fact, like their stuff, my mother's been passed away about 13 years now. And my daughters will come to, not so much my youngest one, but my oldest one will come to me with conversations that her and my mother had. And I was like, what? How did I get left out of this? But, I think that's a good thing. I'm glad she felt comfortable to go talk to her grandmother about things, what I'm saying, rather than keep it held in. But we've seen Wendy's mama. She's a little, off her rocker. So, Wendy, that's your mama, but this is what we see when we go over here. What she say? Jesus, hellfire, whatever she be saying over there. Giselle had the audacity to bring up Wendy's wig as if she's not sitting up there with a tricolor mismatch ponytail on her forehead. So, girl, you don't get to be the wig police. Let somebody else have that conversation. Shoot. And not Ashley, because I don't really want to hear her mouth. But, she's sitting there, so we're going to have to hear it. Yeah, she's sitting up there with a bad wig, asking somebody about their bad wig. Andy wants Wendy to explain what he describes as a shit-eating grin. And I had to go back and see, because I'm like, what are they talking about? Can you explain the shit-eating grin? Is that what it looked like? I mean, okay, Wendy, the wig is very bad. And if you said that's your professor wig, that's, let it just be your nap wig. Tia tried to throw you one, and you didn't catch it. You let it fall to the floor. She said they ain't high. If Happy Eddie, Wendy, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. She said Eddie was in there taking a nap. He's sleepy. Maybe he popped a Happy Eddie before he went to sleep. I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't want to pop one before I go to jail. That might be stressful. But yeah, he looked like he on something. Wendy said the photographer was saying, smile for the camera. So he was having his America's Next Top Model moment in the mugshot room. That would have pissed me off. I'm sorry, Wendy, but I guess she's on her don't let him see you sweat vibe. And I'm on my don't ask me to smile while I'm on my way to jail. So, but y'all want Wendy to come in here all broke down. And a part of me, even though I think this picture is very bad, and I don't mean bad because she's smiling. I see plenty of people smile in their mugshots. So, and it's not a shit-eating grin. It honestly looks quite forced. It looks like she's, smiling through her pain. I feel like she said that. Now, them eyelashes, Wendy, between the wig and the eyelashes, girl. Look at Eddie. You can't tell me. You cannot tell me that Happy Eddie ain't, indulging, never get high on your own supply. That's what Biggie said. Eddie don't know the 10 crack commandments. Um, what else happened? Yeah, she said she was smiling through her pain. That's what it looked like. I'm glad she didn't let them, come over here. She was coming over here with her feather coat, you know, slithering. What they say Wendy be doing, slithering and slinking. She was slithering and slinking in that beautiful gown and that, full length feather coat. So leave Wendy alone. Um, Giselle wants to know if she's high. She said no. She probably wasn't, but there ain't no way in the world you gonna convince me that Happy Eddie, hadn't indulged in some of the things that he does over there. I don't know. Maybe Wendy did too. It don't matter. Like she had to spend the night in the lockup. I would hate to be in the lockup, a little high on my own supply, because then when you get some munchies, you can't even go get some potato chips. You just gotta lay there and suffer through it. Do they bring you a glass of water if you get thirsty? Ooh, child, that's one 24-hour struggle. It's hot in here. Excuse me again. I'm being so rude, texting people and things during this live. It's okay. You know what to do. Tell the people to hit the like button. Because that's what I would do if I was visiting somebody's page, in the conversation about this foolishness. Turn down the heat. Menopause sucks, man. You be like, cold. I was just cold a few minutes ago. Before I got on here, I had my sweater on, and I was like, I'm not gonna record with my sweater on. So I went and turned the heat on. Now, I need to get my Diva fan. That's what I need to do. Give me a few minutes, and I bet you I'll pull that thing out. Anyway, Giselle was being so. She said, Wendy, like, are you okay? Because it seems like, everything is just happy go lucky here. How did y'all want her to come? Y'all wanted her to get glammed up for the reunion just to come in here and be like, I'm so sad. She already did that. She already processed that. Y'all done went to BravoCon. She's had a moment, you know what I'm saying, to process well enough to come over here and get this other check. So I don't know what y'all want her to look like. She didn't come over there with them puffy ass eyes like Giselle got. Are you okay, Giselle? Because, you look she looked puffy and stressed like she did before. What got her stressed out? Is it because of that lady, with her daddy's wife or whatever? Something got her stressed out. Is it because she was sneaking around dating? Let me don't get ahead of myself. They want Wendy to appear more broken. That's what I get from it. And I'm glad she didn't do that. I'm glad she didn't give it to him. Wendy said, no, she's not okay. So do you feel better now? Jeez. Let's see. We move on to Stacy. Stacy's back with Timu, and they give Stacy this little, we had to watch her QVC videos. Stacy, them QVC, you talk about cute little holiday, dress and lovely mosaics and things. I mean, that was her job, but it was all a lie, Stacy. So maybe she communicates this way. I'm gonna give Stacy an out. Maybe she communicates this way because she said that was her real self over there on QVC, and I believe her. So maybe that's why she just lies so much, because she's used to it. She's used to presenting like as if she's got to showcase things, and I don't know what Stacy be doing. I think Stacy is harmless for the most part. You know what I'm saying? When you're sitting on a stage full of liars, I don't know why this is the liar that we want to pick on. Giselle gets jealous when people start getting too much attention, and Stacy definitely is getting the attention. She was on the cover of Vanity Fair. Giselle, what do you think about Stacy being on the cover of Vanity Fair? Well, Giselle says since all these ladies over here getting arrested, it's nice to hear something good about the show. So I'm very happy to see Stacy on the cover. She's not happy to see Stacy on the cover. She's just happy that the Housewives franchise is affiliated with something other than jail. Let's be clear about that. I don't think she's happy to see any success in Stacy's life. Giselle hates Stacy, but I feel like she doesn't like most people, Giselle. Not unless they fall in line. And then Stacy is, I think, in the same age bracket as Giselle. When you get grown You don't worry about letting somebody try to tell you what to do. Stacy is like, I'm gonna do my thing over here. Nobody likes you anyway, Giselle, except for the execs. But that's neither here nor there, because as long as Stacy keeps getting, you know, the accolades that she's getting, Carlos gave her a whole reality TV personality of the year award, and Carlos's voice, I feel like, matters over here. We talk a lot of shit about Carlos, but I feel like based on the fact that he worked over here and what he's turned, his career into and molded it into, we've been mad at Carlos for a long time about what he did to Candy and that what do you call it? Biography or biography of the group or whatever. It never happened. And we see how he moves, but I think his voice matters over here. So is Giselle a little bit irritated by all of the accolades that Stacey is getting? She is. So, she's a hater. She don't want to see somebody that she don't like, doing things. Andy asked Stacey, is she performing on the show? Yes, she is. Ashley is. Kierna is. It's a lot of performers over there. We don't know who the hell Kierna is. We just think she's pretty. And I've said this before. Kierna is a perfect example of pretty privilege because she ain't offering us a damn. But she looked good though. So, that counts for something, I suppose. Andy asked Stacey who filed for divorce. Stacey says she did, but the papers say Timu did. This is Stacey. This is like what gets on my nerves. That was so unnecessary. So, if Timu filed for divorce, this explains why Stacey ain't trying to have no conversations about what's that man? TJ or Chris Samuels. And if she could have just said that, she could have just said, look, TJ is in my past. Me and my husband are working on our relationship. And what I'm not going to do is come over here and have discussions with y'all about TJ. He said I paid him. I said I didn't. So, my word against his. What do you want me to say? Chris Samuels, I know him socially. What do y'all want as far as that's concerned? I'm not about to sit up here and talk about who I was dating while me and my husband were separated. You know what I'm saying? On a public platform. He's probably had a conversation with her about that. But I wish Stacey would have just said that, because all that flim-flamming around, it doesn't look good. And, it makes it hard to cheer for you, Stacey. We like you, but the lies are so unnecessary. It's so irritating. Timu is out of town. That's the beef between Tia and Stacey. I feel like this Tia Stacey beef really didn't have to be that big a deal. Ooh, Tia, that's an ugly dress. When I'm sitting here like looking at them close up. I really understand why Tia was irritated with Stacey about, was Timu here or not here? That was a stupid lie. Again, all she had to say was, the truth, Stacey. You making up shit and it doesn't make sense. Then when she said it herself, she calls it beating around the bush. Okay, get out of the bushes then, Stacey, because that didn't have to be a thing. You could have said, again, he's not ready. He's not comfortable. I feel like she said that though. Tia says she didn't. And she did. When they was down to the rec center pool, she said Timu is not that comfortable coming around all the ladies. So, and you really were over there trying to get the tea for Giselle 100%, because why would you be meeting her down there 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning down to the rec center to watch her daughter's swim lessons? That doesn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could have planned somewhere to go have lunch or something. And it may have happened or we just didn't see it. But you absolutely came over there to run back and tell Giselle. And Tia absolutely told you that he was not comfortable being around everybody yet. So, call it whatever you want it. Now, her saying he out of town, he back in town. I don't know where he flew to and back in the same damn day. He's gone today. I don't know. I mean, not to tell too much of my business, I went to the Bahamas and came back the same day. I was clearly not on vacation, but that's another story for another time. Um, but I don't believe her. I don't believe that was a thing. I don't think that Timu went anywhere. Um, Not that fast. She said he travels twice a week, but it's neither here nor there. That's a small thing. I think the real issue with Tia and Stacy came when Tia toodalooed her ass out of that event, which we are all confused by that. Um, yeah, it just didn't make sense. Especially when Ashley was standing up there calling her all kind of hoes. And so Ashley would have called me a one hoe before I kicked her ass out the door. Um, but what did Tia say? You came over to gather information and run back to your master. That's embarrassing. But y'all treating Giselle like she's your master. So on one hand, it's like a lot, and on the other hand, that's exactly what you were doing, Tia. So toodaloo. Yeah, but if Stacy would have kicked me out of her vent, I would be having the same energy for her now that Tia does. That was too much. Stacy's cannabis line. They were, going back and forth with Stacy. Giselle feels like, at the last reunion, I asked you about the cannabis and you were like, no, absolutely not. And then all you had to say, Giselle, she said what she said. She didn't have to say nothing. She came over there. She said, repeatedly this season that she was in the process and having conversations. When you're in the conversation stage of things, I don't believe in saying nothing to nobody until it's a done deal. So that's what she did. She don't owe you a god doggone thing, Giselle. She said what she said. She said no. At the time, no, I don't have a business. Now, whoever the person was, and I don't believe necessarily somebody was out in these Potomac streets running their mouth. But the streets be talking to Giselle, according to her. She be out there gathering receipts from people. So, she has her cannabis line now. She named it, what did she name it? I wish she wouldn't have named it that because I'm not Nigerian and I can't never remember the name of it. Happy Eddie is easier to remember. She should have called it Spacey Stacy. I would remember that. Shio. Shio means peace and joy. Girl, the people not gonna know to remember that. I'm just telling you, Stacy, that was a mistake. I don't feel like, the people gonna remember Shio. We're gonna have to hear a lot before before that sticks. But we would have been running around here talking about Stacy, Spacey, Stacy. And when I say we, I mean y'all, because I don't do gummies. I've tried it. It's not my thing. I'm old school. Anyway, Ashley said her and Giselle, were out wherever they were, and this famous actress that we don't know showed her and Ashley receipts that she paid TJ. She paid TJ. What receipts did she have? I don't, these receipts are not receipting. So y'all brought it up. The lady said that's not true, and you still mad. Like, where's the receipts? Tell the famous lady to forward y'all the receipts so we can all see them. And you could put them up on the poster board. And whatever case that TJ has against Stacy, we ain't heard nothing about it. We don't even know if he still work on the QVC's channel or wherever he was working at. TJ with all them teeth. He switches over to Angel. Angel has purchased a home in Potomac. So, y'all can say what you want to say, but her and Bobby have partnered up with the decorator that they, worked with on their Colorado home. They, she's been flued out to, do the work. I want to see Angel, the before and after. So if you come back next season, I hope you're documenting. I hope you're documenting this lovely upgrade that I'm sure you're doing over there. Tia, again, here she go, running back and telling things. So Tia went over there and they fake packed boxes at Angel's house, and she got right in her car and told Giselle that, Tia she had to leave. The people put her out. And so that's where the whole eviction story came from. Because, you couldn't let this lady tell the story on her own. But, Angel, that's not how things work over here. So, yeah, you knew that was going to become a thing. What was she supposed to do? Call a formal meeting, with some sound bowls and things and let the ladies woo-saw while she discusses how she's not being evicted, but, her lease is up on the Airbnb. And she's, we see she's a bad planner. Now, looking back, when we see how she handled things over there in Colorado with the, cash trip, I'm not surprised that she over here raggedy planning things like, woo, Angel, I don't know, girl, because when I'm getting ready, when the time is up, I don't know, the communication sucked. So you didn't do that. I'm gonna put that one on you, Angel. I see how your plannings, how you plan things around, and because of you, your family got disrupted and you had to move around, and then you wonder why Bobby has a bad attitude, because he's probably like, God dang it, Angel, again. Bobby knows how you do things. And on top of that, you want him to go hang out with people that have been calling you a catfish. So is he supposed to go kiki in front of their face for what? I'm with Bobby. I don't really like you bitches. So I'm going to come over here and give you my ass to kiss. Shout out to Dr. Simone. Chin check. So as Angel was sitting there explaining the whole chin check situation and, discussing with Wendy, how Wendy, Wendy, like, you see how I could feel some type of way. And while she's explaining, her best friend of 20 years, Kiana, comes in to chin check her ass right there on the reunion stage. So no, she's not going to answer. I'm talking. So while Angel is actively having conversation with Wendy, Kiana jumps in to say nothing. She interrupted that conversation, cut her friend off as if she was going to add to the conversation. And all she did was sit up there and apologize again for, saying chin check. Girl, you could have kept that to yourself. And once again, here you go, embarrassing your friend. And the people is like, what the fuck is going on over here? That's Angel, Wendy, and Giselle. Like, what kind of friendship is this? Catfish. Giselle is trying to put it out there like Angel just kept saying catfish, catfish, catfish. And she kind of did bring it up a lot, but y'all kind of brought it back in her face. Like having Ashley bring catfish to the event. You called the lady out to embarrass her when, it didn't have to happen. Angel, I wouldn't call you a catfish, but I would call you highly filtered and photoshopped. And so next time, and I've seen a picture of her and her family, and let me just say, they're a very cute family. She did have, her pictures were touched up, but it just still looked like Angel. So I was like, I'm not mad at that, like, because we all touch up our photos, but whatever she was doing over there, I feel like Angel has an issue with her nose. She's not happy. She don't like her Michael Jackson nostrils. Me and my daughter were talking about that. I happen to be a person that, I like a full nose. I don't really like pointy nose. So it's just a matter of preference, but I feel like that's her issue. Angel is not happy with her. Girl, get it fixed. You rich. Just go ahead and get it fixed. We won't, they gonna talk about you, but who in the hell cares? You'll feel better. They over here with fake titties, fake asses, fake eyelashes, fake hair, fake nails. Get your darn nose tweaked. Don't take the Michael Jackson out of it, but get it to a place where you feel comfortable. Because I feel like when you look at her pictures, that's the focus. She's always focused on, making that nose tweaked, like Michael Jackson's skinny nose. As far as her weight is concerned, she's at the time was still nursing or breastfeeding her child. So she had a little baby. Get off her back, Giselle, because you look puffy and you ain't had kids in 20 years. Her saying asshole lips and Forrest Whitaker eyes. Angel, that was some foul things to say about the lady. What did you even mean about that? So, yeah, explain yourself. Yeah, she said it was harsh. in her description. But every now and then, Wendy makes this face. It's the same face that Forrest Whitaker makes when she squints her eyes. And you were comparing Wendy to a man. No woman wants to say they look like Forrest Whitaker. You could have picked somebody else that's a woman with the squinty face. So, Wendy said, what if I called you James Earl Jones? So, and I bet you anything, she lay up in bed that night, like, Bobby, do I remind you of James Earl Jones? Mercurical. Anyway. Madness and sadness. This girl, Kiana, said that is not true. She has friendships with 85% of the people on the cast. So we're not going to just act like her and Angel were on an island by themselves. Well, not on the island by yourself. You wasn't on an island by yourself. Your friend Angel was on an island by herself, and you part of the reason why she ended up over there. So, yeah, no, you weren't there on the island. You left Angel to fend for herself. And then you came to her house, luxuriated while the other ladies were in the top of a mountain with no water, only to come over here and chin check her again. Wendy wasn't about to let you run her like that. That's why you have an issue with Wendy. Kiana wants to have, is she a Pisces? Sorry. Is she a Pisces? These Pisces women be wanting attention like, geez, oh, Pete, 24/7. No offense, like if you're a Pisces, I have Pisces in this house, and other houses that I raised. I gave birth to 2 Pisces. I know how they, self-centered energy, sometimes can be. If it ain't you, what if it ain't you, don't worry about it. Yeah, I already talked about Ashley bringing the catfish to the parking lot. She talking about it was funny. It was funny. Learn to laugh. It's not funny if my feelings are hurt, Ashley. Ashley thinks she's funny. She ain't funny. You're supposed to say, I don't advocate for violence. You know what I'm saying? People that say that. So I'm not going to say it right before I say what I wish Ashley run into the person that mollywop her ass dead in the mouth since she thinks she's so funny. So yeah, I'm not going to give that disclaimer because I really kind of want to see that happen. Sue me later. Ashley was over there telling jokes when Wendy got locked up. Zen Win is in the pen. It's just a joke. That's not funny. This lady is facing 16 felony charges. And you sat up there and you were at BravoCon and, well, I told a little joke. I hate it when Ashley gives dialogue. It's always that same thing. And I'm very sorry, Wendy. You're not sorry. You're not sorry. You don't sound sorry. You the one with the shit-eating grin. Andy, check Ashley. She's the one that keeps the shit-eating grin like all the time. Every time, the camera pans on her, there she is eating shit, grinning about it. And she said it was, a joke. And she tried to use Wendy's mugshot as an excuse. When I saw like that mugshot and you were just smiling and I was like, this isn't real. Ashley doesn't like Wendy, hasn't liked Wendy for probably since the beginning, ever since she said her name was Dr. Wendy. Ashley has a problem with women of a darker hue being more successful than her. She's simply not accomplished. And that's what Wendy brought to her attention. Wendy said Ashley has had a hidden vendetta against her for a very long time. And Ashley said Wendy be over there looking down on them and weaponizing her accomplishments. And she said if she would never do that, she would never weaponize her accomplishments against others. And Wendy said, you ain't got no accomplishments. And she doesn't. She doesn't. Her accomplishment was like being a mattress for the grim, what did Candace call that man? The overseer. Child, she was down there bedding with an overseer and like a wench. Man, I miss Candace. I can't believe I'm saying that, but the way that girl put some words together, whoo, she have your ass spinning around in a circle. I wouldn't want to be in a line of fire of one of Candace's reads because I'm not that quick. Not quicker than her. Wendy, yeah, she says she don't have any accomplishments. That's pretty much where part one ended, with them two going back and forth. Wendy says she don't have any accomplishments, and Ashley says she only got one social security number. And Wendy said, "Me too." And she said, "People said you had it was 6767," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" So Ashley stood around with that 67. She couldn't wait. She was just sitting there, antsy in her pants, with a shit-eating grin, waiting to use that one on Wendy. Soon as Wendy come for her, she was gonna go in with the 6-7. I guess Ashley. Um, I guess that's how you know, like one of the ways you can see that that's not like how Ashley doesn't give a shit about Wendy, because instead of like being genuine in what she's saying, you know what I'm saying? A real friend, as much as she was hanging around with Wendy this whole season, like they were like the three musketeers, Wendy, Giselle, and Ashley. Um, Nobody was going to think that's funny. Like if I found out one of my friends got arrested on some shit, I'm not going to be up for jokes. You know what I'm saying? And if you say something inappropriate in your house, that's one thing, but you were on a stage in front of people talking about we been knew about Zen Win. Did you? She just be saying shit, and then she want to say Stacy is a liar. Um, in part two, the interaction between the two of them, you know, they carried on. Um, Wendy said she texted Stacy. So apparently Stacy texted Ashley and was like, "Oh my God, have you heard about Wendy? You know what's going on?" And she was like, "Do you feel bad?" And Ashley was like, "No, not really. I feel bad for her kids, but you know, apparently she says she gets what she deserves." So that's how much she feel about Wendy. Why would she? I get. Is that what she deserves? We don't know. The people said that the jury's still out, and we have court appearances, but nothing has come to, you know, any terms or any conditions at this point. Ashley said these new girls are sensitive, and you know they don't know how to take her sense of humor. I'm gonna have to temper my sense of humor because these ladies around here, like back in the day, Karen, like she would go back and forth with me. Candace went back and forth with you too. She used to ragtag your ass to death, and you didn't think it was funny when she was talking about your big forehead. You know what I'm saying? You didn't find it funny. You was up there crying, talking about Candace was mean to me. I'm postpartum, child. Um, what else happened? The new girls can't take their sense of humor. Andy asked Angel, "Is there anything she would have done different?" Angel, is there anything you would have done different? And she says she would have, you know, shown her more fun, bubbly side. I don't want her to hear her say fun bubbly again. I heard her say that a couple few times. Angel, you are not fun or bubbly. And that's not a bad thing. Like I feel like you need different adjectives to describe yourself. Refined, conservative. And I don't mean like MAGA kind of conservative. I mean, you know, low key. There's so many adjectives that she could have used, you know, sensitive. Fun and bubbly ain't it. You've not been fun and bubbly a day in your life. So, you know, ask Bobby. He'd probably be like, I love you. I don't know about fun and bubbly. That doesn't really describe your personality. So Ashley, let's talk about Ashley. Ashley gets her segment. I, through this whole season, have ignored Ashley's scenes. I don't talk about them. We don't discuss them unless absolutely have to, and that's generally if it involves another person. But as far as Ashley's personal story, don't care. Don't talk about it. Ashley was over here spending the season exploiting other people, like Josh. She exploited Josh. She met him down to the speed dating. She dates him on camera, maybe for a little couple few dates, and then you know she dumps him off camera while she dates other people. You know, like people that she would actually be interested in. She brought the boy over here and made him come film with her so she could tell him he ain't it. But they still hanging out, according to her. Josh, that's on you. You was over here talking about your feelings was hurt when Wendy was calling you Jack Harlow, Josh Harlow, or whatever, and you letting Ashley like run all over your feelings. So I don't feel sorry for Josh because low key Josh wanted to be on TV probably with his bad haircut. She exploited her sister. We ain't never seen this sister. Ashley brings her over here to talk about how her father is an alcoholic or drug addicted of some kind and that he has to go to rehab. We need to discuss how come Sheila ain't in rehab, Ashley. We need to discuss that there's no way that Sheila been sitting up here all these years with that man that she's not indulging to the point where she what did she say? She was throwing up blood or, somewhere she was bleeding where she wasn't supposed to, out of her nose, or I think she said she was throwing up blood. I don't know what Sheila's over there doing with that husband, boyfriend, man. I don't know what he is. But, why are we bringing the daughter over here, the sister over here to, talk shit about her dad? Let's talk about Sheila too. Sheila sitting up there, looking a fool like Ashley's mama. Sharice's son. She exploited him too by bringing up a story that happened 5 years ago at a party. At least 3 seasons ago, at some point 3 seasons ago, Ashley got drunk. She got white girl wasted. And then Sharice's son had to bring her home. And she wanted to act like he was the one that pursued her. And she don't see a problem with kissing her friend's young son because he was illegal. That's what pedophiles always say. She legal. I'm not calling her a pedophile. I'm just saying, your behavior is suspect, Ashley. You can say what you want to say about it. Now, drunk Ashley was in the car with that boy, probably with her cootie cat all up in the air. And giving him every reason under the sun to think he's, it's a go. Because that's what Ashley do. She bring her little coochie around and, throw it around on people and then, take their son home and take advantage of him. He's 27 now. So how old was he when this happened? 25, 24? Anyway, it's gross. She met the kid when he was 15 years old. So she could keep trying to justify it by saying she's legal, like he's legal. And I say, you sound like the rest of them over there on Epstein Island, Ashley. We're going to call her Epstein Ashley. She said he made the first move. I wouldn't do that. Okay, girl. So they asked her if she just kissed him or if she did more. And she was over there at that table with Sharice, implying that more happened. She was on Watch What Happens Live, implying that more happened. She said she was sneaking in there, worried that Sharice was going to see her on the ring cam. So if you were worried that Sharice was going to see you on the ring cam, girl, I'm sorry. You talking about Stacy's lying. And which is the truth, Ashley? You said it was just a kiss. So you snuck over the fence and around the ring cam just to go kiss him again? You don't make sense. You don't like what the people said. So now you over here trying to act like I wouldn't do that. This boy approached me. Okay, Karen. I don't mean Karen Huger. I mean one of those, because that's what Ashley is. Mauricio. When I tell you I was so irritated by how they behave around Mauricio, and they wasn't no better over here on Housewives when he showed up. He walked away. They're like, girl, I see what you mean, Kyle. Okay, I guess. And I'm not trying to take away. Mauricio is a good-looking man. Period. Hard stop. I'm sure he's charismatic and all that. I've never met the man. I'm just saying all of this like, oh my God, Mauricio. Girl. And y'all too old for that. Even Ashley. At this point, Ashley, I mean, I don't know. She's been up under the Grim Reaper, so he might have had her that excited. She says she know Kyle. Kyle says she don't. Ashley, oh yeah, Ashley. So Kyle don't know you. So there you go. I don't know why they trying to make it seem like Stacy was, trying to get with Mauricio. And I don't know why Giselle is over here in such judgment, because she said multiple times everywhere she went, over in the confessional, over on, Andy's chair, watch what happens live. And she said multiple times that she would love to be up under Mauricio, except it's the Kyle of it all. So, whatever she was saying, it ain't making it no better than anything anybody else was saying. Ashley and Jill were Giselle, not jail. Ashley and Giselle were both dating politicians. Stacy is flabbergasted. She's like, "You trashy tart. Ain't no politician dating you." Nobody even asked Giselle if she was dating a politician. She volunteered this information. "I was dating a congressman." Really? Not on the show. Well, a congressman wouldn't go on the show. Okay, girl. So she's telling you flat out that she has a life that be happening outside of this filming. During filming, you get to see nothing of Giselle. She makes up things, comes around your house and gets all up in your business. So, I mean, I don't know if she's still dating, if she's got a football player and a politician on the roster. She also brought a fake boyfriend. Remember when she got the kid from, and I'm calling him a kid because he, was like 30 maybe. And she found him over at Summer House and he was her pretend boyfriend. Remember that? But we mad at Stacy. Okay. And I'm not saying Stacy's no better. I'm just saying Stacy's not doing anything any different than what y'all were doing. We are not going to sit up here and act like Josh it has anything to do with Ashley besides when she decides to bring him over here on this TV show. Because she got that from Giselle. Giselle's like, "Don't bring your real man over here, girl. Bring your pretend man over here." And so, she's exploiting Josh. But we want to talk about how Stacy's a lie. Oh, y'all lie. Ashley's next venture, she pulls out a fake book cover. She's now writing children's books. So Ashley is luring young boys over to her web via children's books. She's over here down to the preschool with Dean and Dylan, checking out which one of these boys she wants to entertain once he gets of age. Ciao. Epstein Ashley. That's what I'm going to call her. Kierna comes over here and she probably pulls out this stupid picture frame. We gonna pretend like she's not embarrassed. I mean, I guess she not. She gonna stand by her man. Girl, she clutching her picture frame. Me and Greg said that, I don't remember what the quote was, the shit bullshit he said to her. But yeah, she's got a lovely frame. I don't like it, but she loves it. She carries it around in her pocketbook and underneath her evening gown. They go back and forth, the whole beef with Wendy and Kay. Kay was upset that Wendy was giving a speech, and when she walked in the room, she did not say hi to her. I guess her point was the room was very small. Kay, doesn't matter if the room is small. The lady had a speech. Let her finish her speech, then she can come say hi to you. Why am I stopping in the middle of my speech? Why are you here late? Why are you here and the speech already started, Kierna? If you was, about it, you would have been there already. Maybe that's why the lady asked you, did you do your own makeup? Because you took so long to get to the event. For goodness sake. I don't know if that was the same event. I'm just saying. Anyway, Wendy pulls out a picture of her and Kay hugging each other after it was over. Kay don't know what she's mad about. I don't think. Kay is mad because Wendy wasn't giving her the attention she wanted. I mean, I don't know. Kay really has not explained what her beef is with anybody. She's mad at Stacy because Stacy allegedly was paying TJ. That's what you're beefing with Stacy about, girl. I don't think she knows what her issue is with Stacy. We're not gonna say because she ran back, because we know in a group of people with Stacy and Kierna and Ashley and Giselle and that damn Cookie, this information could have got out any type of way. But you know where the information really came from? Monique. If Monique was over here running her mouth in front of these people, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. So Monique, blame your damn self, for goodness sakes. Jazzy. Oh, Jazzy, this dress look worse. in person than it did in this picture. It is just all bad. And she needed 7 people to help carry that thing. She said her corset was tight, so she couldn't breathe. She has helmet hair. I've seen Jazzy look cuter going to, hang out with them just over at a girls' meetup at somebody's house. Like I said, I went over these looks already, but that helmet hair was getting on my nerves. Her makeup, it's a no for me, Jazzy. Maybe she's stressed. I think she's stressed out too, like Giselle is. Is Darius over there stressing you out, Jazzy? I bet he is. Both of them dimples got you stressed out. So where's Darius playing this season? Darius was over there warming the bench for the Patriots, and they lost the Super Bowl. So we don't know where he gonna be next season. We hope he have a job, because at some point in time he did not have a job. He's in between jobs. That's Darius is aging out for football, especially for somebody who's never really I've learned about Darius over here on Potomac. And I've been a Kansas City fan. I'm damn sure not a Patriots fan. I'm just saying, I know football somewhat, pretty much. It's a football family. So, yeah, Darius, we didn't even know you. We just know you bees on the bench. You bees on the bench. Did she meet Cardi B? She did not. She said the one game that she didn't go to was the one that Cardi came to. So I haven't met Cardi yet. Well, if you think you're going to meet her at a Patriots game, that's probably not going to happen. You're going to need to wait to meet Cardi some other time. You might have to go ahead and buy that VIP package down to her concert. Jazzy and Kay are not cool. And I hate this so much, because I don't know, maybe could they suffer from the same syndrome of needing to be the center of attention? I don't know. I just really wanted them to be cool. They're young, they're pretty, they're out here, outside. And I don't mean outside like they have men in their lives, but outside doing things. Kierna has her business. It just would be so dope if they were like friends. But I guess everybody can't be friends. Everybody over here beefing for no reason. It doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna lie. I slept through Tia's segment. It was something about her husband. Like, her husband was on the show. Andy was reading questions from people wrote in, and he was answering questions. And somebody asked about her husband being on the show. Her husband was on the show. So yeah, I don't know what that question was all about. Tia and Jazzy, they're beefing, and we don't know why. I don't know why. Jazzy was over here. Jazzy was being upset about Tia making a joke about Mr. whatever his name is, Sunshine, flirting with her over in Nevis, which was very stupid because he was a much older man. And, nobody thought that the joke was inappropriate. So Jazzy was over there trying to make a moment. I think her real issue with Tia is that Tia holds a flute and she does not. Jazzy was like, I was here last year. I came down to the reunion and, handed out my fancy invitations to everyone. And here you are picking this lady we've never heard of, to be, holding a flute instead of me. So I think that's her issue with Tia. Who was the other? I don't think is she aligned with Angel? I don't know. I haven't seen her. She said her and Angel are cool because they're wags. So yeah, I feel like she thinks it's in her best interest to, be friendly with Angel. At some point, she told Tia that this boy he was between teams, out of work with no football team to call home, and that he had to borrow $150,000 to get her house and her wardrobe. I mean, I don't know that he had to do that, and I think that's not smart. So your man ain't over here making good investments. If he took out $150,000 just for your, what do you mean for your house? Don't y'all have a house together? Maybe she meant their house, but she said her house anyway. They're husband and wife, so I'm sure it's their house. Yeah, Jazzy, I don't get it. Why did you tell this lady that personal business if you didn't like her like that? Their argument was just kind of, it reminded me of Sheree and Marlo when they were like, So, and I was very much not interested. She said her man makes millions. And I'm like, Darius is making millions from the bench over at the Patriots? I don't know about that, Jazzy. And Jazzy, where is your money? I mean, I guess she's a friend of. So if they put her on the show, that's the story I want to hear. When she was over there interviewing with Carlos King, talking about how the baby mama, the babies was conceived, and she was creating a timeline as to make it seem like she was the side chick. Huh. Anyway, Jazzy, I don't know. I don't know about Darius and his dimples making millions off the bench. I think you're exaggerating, but she says she came from wealth. So if y'all give her a champagne flute, I would like to see, her story, her wealthy story. I know she's a flight attendant, and that's neither here nor there. Like, you better be keeping your job, girl. Flight attendants get to fly free, so the benefits are probably worth it. I don't know what airline she worked for, but she keep them flights, down, friends and family and things. Darius, if he's put the NFL, I think he might have some type of airline perks too. So they doing that over there. But you don't know if this man gonna have a job. Every year after Super Bowl, you have to find out if he gonna be at work. Whew, girl. Anyway, she's probably hoping to get these Potomac checks. You know what I'm saying? So they can navigate and do other things. I think she's got a hairline or something out there. I don't, little stuff going on their side life. But she doesn't, if she doesn't get this platform, then because they're not really giving her too much shine on the sides. And she be over there. She was over in Nevis, doing the most, arguing with this lady Tia for no reason. So the beef between the two of these two don't even make sense. I don't know what, it's a non-thing. It's a non-need to be thing. Stacy going to Jazzy's wedding. I am over this as well. We know that Jazzy only asked Stacy to be there because she wanted her wedding to be filmed. And so they both, I call it even. Stacy was like, I don't know yet. Let me see. She didn't plan on going until, Wendy and Ashley said they were going. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to say that either. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to tell the person, I'll go now because Ashley and them are going. Why would I say that? Even if that's what I was thinking. So I don't think she's wrong for thinking that. You get married in Dallas, girl. Not a man playing in New England. But I got to leave what I'm doing over here to go in Dallas. I've heard people saying she knew for a year. It's never been that important to her. From the very beginning, she was on some, maybe I'll go, I don't know, let me see what I have going on at the time. Her wedding was never a priority for Stacy because they don't know each other like that. And so I'm assuming that Wendy was like, the push that what got her to go, because I feel like Stacy is actually more close to Wendy than she is Jazzy. Ashley ain't her friend, so I don't know why Ashley went over there except for to be nosy. Jazzy is recording calls. Now, I remember a time like when iPhone made an update and you would push your cheek to the phone and it would say the conversation is being recorded. It doesn't do that anymore. So I'm guessing that that bug has been fixed. But that's not the only thing that was being done over here. The people said that Jazzy gets people in have on the phone running their mouth on speakerphone, and they think their conversation, I guess, note to self, I don't really talk like that on speakerphone, but unless I'm talking to somebody like that I'm really close with, at which point they're going to be like, I'm on, some people are around. But I guess Jazzy has baited people into conversations with other folks around, and who said they experienced it. Wendy says she experienced it. Kay says she experienced it. And Angel. So Jazzy, maybe you're not recording, but are you like letting people's conversations be heard that think they're, having a private conversation? Not cool. We to the what's this girl Monique portion of the conversation. Monique looks a damn fool. I don't know what the hell was going on. They said she was a triangle. She said she was a pyramid. You're not a pyramid. You work for Sesame Street. You're a red triangle. One red triangle. Two red triangles. That's what it's giving. And I don't know what's happening over on your leg. You look a damn fool, Monique. Aside from her hair, her hair looks nice. Um, so she's over here, she brings a stupid binder and what would you tell the old Monique, that was here before? What would you say to her? Girl, I would say lighten up. It's not that serious. So lighten up. You're making light of Giselle and Ashley and others spreading a rumor about your husband not being the father of your child, and you was out here with that man that we now know that you were out there with that man. Now, I don't know if that's the same man that you was with when this happened, but they said the trainer or somebody you was over there being inappropriate with. And now that we were know what's going on with you and Chris Samuels, girl, that is, don't worry about it. It ain't that serious. I'm so disappointed in Monique. I don't even need her as a friend at this point. But okay, girl. She said, she gave Andy the binder. And then Andy's like, oh my God, I've got this. This is the original binder. So he's going through it and he's naming the tabs. And they're like, you need to change the tabs. I know. I've been so busy. It's so much going on. I received a cease and desist last night. So that's the kind of stuff I've been dealing with. Me and Ashley, we just talked about that. So the night before the reunion, she received a cease and desist. And I don't know if it was Kay or if it was Jazzy, but one of them was like, is it that because of Stacy? No, that's not because of Stacy. It's because of Monique. That's why. Monique was over here talking about how she told this man he was never going inside her again and being all dramatic. And so whatever came out of your mouth was the ammunition that, gave somebody to run back to Chris with. And honestly, I don't care who it was, Monique, because shit. Whew. Angel brought up, there was a conversation with Angel and Monique. She was over here projecting. That's what Angel said. That's what we all said. She was projecting. She said she was just pointing out the similarities between their marriages, both being involved with men in the NFL. And Monique, none of that stuff you're saying is the stuff you were saying before. You were over there saying how this man, you could see it in Angel's eyes and she's carrying it all the weight and she's doing all the stuff that, she's seen in her own marriage. And Angel was like, you don't know me or my man like that. So you didn't have no business trying to put that out there on him. And, she trying to backpedal. She said, I know Bobby's mad at me because I seen him somewhere and he didn't say shit to me. Yeah, I don't blame Bobby. Y'all want to catch Bobby on his most pissed off, mode, like when he's having to move around in a city that he don't want to be in. And y'all are rushing him to come to the rec center and eat some nasty potato salad and watch his wife being called a catfish again. So yeah, y'all got Bobby's ass to kiss. And then you're over here, wanting to grin in his face. And he's not being fake for you, Monique. I don't blame Bobby. She said it was rude. You get what you get. I'm not mad at Bobby. Now they're bringing up Chris Samuels again, and we got to watch this damn clip. And apparently Monique has something on her phone. If it ain't a binder, now it's a phone. And she says they can't probably show it. Well, if they can't show it, then we don't care. I could care less, about Chris and Stacy. Y'all are making way too much of this. Nothing that Stacy could have told Chris is that damn serious. You were sitting at the table being dramatic. And as far as I'm concerned, Chris Samuels is a mess too. He got Sharice's number. He got Cookie calling him and he calling Cookie. He over here talking to Stacy. He got his little ass all up in this business over here on this Potomac show. So Chris and Monique are both a hot ass mess as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Monique, be mad at yourself. So, part 2 ended with Monique showing Andy her phone. And I guess we'll see next week what that's all about. Stacy sitting up here looking a fool. Wendy, you should just sit there and not say nothing, because nothing that's going on with Stacy is as devastating, life changing as the mess you got going on in your, crib. So please don't do too much celebrating while somebody else gets, their feet held to the fire. Next week, I guess we get a little bit more windy. I don't know what more they could say, because it's the pending case. So yeah, and then Karen shows up, and we'll be done with this season of Potomac. So I guess we gotta wait until next week to find out what Miss Karen Huger has to say. I'm not so excited to see it. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'll be here to talk about it, y'all. In the meantime, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the morning, 10 o'clock. I'll be here for some coffee talk. Till then, see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.